privilege to be giving the first Somanath Memorial Lecture in memory of a journalist who I believe truly knew how to speak truth to power. And that's a phrase I think we have forgotten over a period of time, over the last couple of years, where media, which is supposed to be the pillar that questions and brings down the corrupt and those who believe in dividing the country. I'll give an example. Yesterday I was at the Mumbai airport waiting to board the flight to Trivandrum, and thousands of people at the airport, right, waiting to board their flights, and that one news channel that was blazing across. I thought probably they will talk about the Adani scam, or probably they will talk about the BBC documentary not being screened. But guess what was playing for 3 full hours on the news channels about a certain Baba and his magical powers, right? Unfortunately, that's the truth that we are living in. I was telling somebody this morning, I'm writing a piece today about what happened with Gautam Adani. And I was looking at the mainstream media, the news channels, to see what is their coverage so far. And I feel like the only way the mainstream media will talk about the scandal that has happened in India is probably when JNU or Jamia students start talking about it. Probably that's the only time our media will go to these institutions and talk about corruption. Today, in memory of this man who used satire, who used humor to question almost everybody, right? I'm speaking here, I've not spoken at any of the Indian platforms over the last couple of years. I was away in the US where I got a couple of big awards, and I said this there that I feel lost when I'm in India these days, because I feel like people who are questioning, we are being questioned. We are being asked, how dare you? I was at the White House a month ago, and I was speaking to State Department officials, and I spoke about this one journalist all of you must have heard of, Siddique Kappan. He's behind bars for the last 2 years. And more recently, a month ago, he got bail from a court in UP. And that man has, despite being given bail a month ago, Siddique Kappan continues to be behind bars. That's a shame, not just about on every privileged person, it's a shame on each one of us as journalists. It's a shame that one of our own colleagues is behind bars. It's a shame that sham charges are being used to silence those who are trying to speak truth to power. And that is the reason why I am here in a state where he was from. And I hope that many others here speak in solidarity with not just Siddique Kappan, but journalists in this country who are being silenced systematically. In 2017, I think Gauri Lankesh was a dear friend of mine, Gauri Lankesh, who all of you must be aware of, called me because she had read my Facebook post where I was talking about the harassment by the government. And Gauri had translated my book, Gujarat Files, in Kannada. And she was planning to host a big event. And we were talking back and forth. And, Gauri called me and she said, Rana, these are nincompoops, these are paper tigers, they can't do anything. You go on with your journalism. And the next day, Gauri was shot dead. By whom? We all know. We are not supposed to speak about it though. Gauri was shot dead, and till today, what has happened? Has a trial begun? What have we done for justice for her? The number of journalists who are being silenced, Rupesh Kumar Singh in Chhattisgarh, we have become the enemies of the state. So why are we still speaking? We are speaking because there are independent journalists in India who I believe many must be in this room who are trying their best despite the gatekeepers who are stopping them from speaking the truth, the publishers, the owners of mainstream media, who are right now not doing what history will judge them for. We have ministers and honorable members of parliament speaking about how journalists are important, but I believe when these people are in positions of power, they will not attack journalists themselves. It is one thing to speak in solidarity with journalists when you're in opposition. I really like people in position of power to take a position on journalists. As a journalist myself, I consider myself a very privileged voice because, I have access, I have a social media cloud, people hear me when I speak about, which is why I believe it is a moral responsibility on me to speak about and speak for those who do not have my privilege, who are being silenced every single day. All of you will be aware of my investigation in Gujarat, where I went undercover with 8 cameras on my body as Maithili Tyagi. And my own publication, Tehelka, at that point of time did not publish the investigation. I was 26 when I got Mr. Amit Shah's call records published in Tehelka and his role in the extrajudicial murder of Sorabuddin and Tulsi Prajapati. And at that point of time, I believe, I remember all the mainstream media coming to my house talking about the investigation, putting Mr. Amit Shah on their prime time debates. And I suddenly see them now. Suddenly I see journalists asking those softball questions to the Indian Prime Minister and the Home Minister. I'm old enough to know and remember that the Manmohan Singh government was brought down by the media, so to say, effectively, because of the investigations on the coal scam and the 2G scam and the multiple scams that hit the government. The media was questioning it day in, day out. We were all there. Other scam in Maharashtra, everything that was being spoken about, everything that was wrong with the government was being spoken about every single day. What just happened in the last 8 years then? We are not the same anymore. People are mocking us outside. People are joking about us. People are saying we are not to be believed. Is that where we are right now? Are we supposed to be ashamed of ourselves? And this is not a question to the young journalists sitting here. They are doing their best. This is a question to the owners who own these publications, who basically strike deals with the government, who sup with the government, who have dinners and lunches with the government, and who cut deals. And the people who pay the price are the young independent journalists who are in this room right now. And I feel terrible for them, because I come from a school of thought where my father was a part of the Blitz back in the day. And my father used to say, when you go to interview somebody and when you have anything more than a glass of water, you're obliged to that person. You should not even have something like a cup of tea with that person, because then you're obliged to that person. I feel like our morals seem to have changed over a period of time, and that's extremely disappointing. It is disappointing when in a country of 220 million Muslims in this country, every day, all we see on our television news channels is the othering of a community, is the othering of Muslims, is the othering of Dalits, is the othering of marginalized, and the media doesn't want to cover it. Yesterday, one of the first lynchings since Mr. Modi came to power happened in 2015 of this tech guy in Pune. Yesterday, his killers were acquitted by the courts. Was that prime time debate? No, it wasn't. I was reading something about the Hindenburg report that has published a massive expose on the Adani group, and I was just doing a Google search on the mainstream media, right? 7 days ago, Times Now has a big headline. It's not about Times Now, but that's the example that just came in front of me. It says, big revelations on Gautam Adani. He plays Ludo with his wife every night. That's the revelation that we have. Isn't it a matter of shame for each one of us? Is this what we report on? Is this lynchings are normalized? I remember the first time Pehlu Khan and Akhlaq and Junaid's lynching happened, it was in prime time debates. It was in newspapers. Everybody now used to talk about it. We used to haul the government ministers over the coals. But now lynchings happen and they do not even find a mention in the last page, because Indians are probably okay with it. They have normalized this. We have normalized hate for each other. This hate politics, let's not blame the government itself. We, the media, have kind of normalized this hate because it's getting us more TRPs. So we need to introspect where we are. Each time I come to Kerala, it feels a part of me. I was raised by Malayalis. I wasn't an English-speaking person. I went to a government school. I had a polio growing up, and I had to fight with a lot of handicaps to be where I am today. And everybody says Kerala is the bastion of free press. It is the bastion of free speech. I really want Kerala to rise to the occasion in that case and show a mirror to the rest of the country. Are you doing that? Is the question that I'm going to ask you. Are you speaking truth to power irrespective of who's in power? It's not about BJP, because BJP is in power today. Did we question those in power earlier? Across the board, BJPs, left parties, Congress, nobody should be above board for us. We do not serve governments. We serve our profession.
ഏറ്റവും പുതിയ വാർത്തകളും വിശേഷങ്ങളും അതിവേഗത്തിൽ അറിയാൻ സീ മലയാളം ന്യൂസ് ആപ്പ് ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്യൂ. സന്ദർശിക്കൂ www.zeemalayalamnews.com.